story of Jesus being anointed by the woman in Bethany just before he heads into Jerusalem is a story which appears in all of the gospel accounts. It has little differences in each of the accounts. In John's gospel, it happens like this. Jesus goes to Bethany, and there apparently he has already formed a significant friendship with Mary and Martha and their brother Lazarus. He goes there close to the end of John's gospel because Lazarus has died, and there in John chapter 11, Jesus raises Lazarus from death. When the people see the healing power that comes with Christ, there is a mass exodus out of the established church towards Jesus and the new gospel of healing, forgiveness, and grace which he preaches. This so angers the established church that it is there and then they decide that Jesus must be killed. He therefore flees to Ephraim to hide away from the authorities. But when the time of Passover comes, Jesus knows that he must return to Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover, but also to face that death which is inevitable for him. So he goes from Ephraim to Bethany, which was just 2 kilometers outside of Jerusalem, and he makes that his headquarters as he prepares to go into Jerusalem and face Roman authorities and the church. It is there, upon his arrival in Bethany, while he is staying in the house of Mary and Martha and Lazarus, that they have prepared a dinner for him. In the midst of that dinner, Mary breaks open a bottle of precious nard, pours it out on Jesus' feet, and then wipes the nard from his feet with her hair. And I think that that is a scene for which there is no adequate description. You simply have to close your eyes and picture what is happening there. It's a strange vision for us. Try to keep in mind that Mary and Martha and Lazarus were all likely still teenagers. Jesus himself was an old man of 30 years, but here is a group of extremely young people. And the relationship which Jesus had with Mary and Martha and Lazarus and all of the disciples was the relationship of a new rabbi forming a group of followers around him, followers who would have been older teenagers. An interesting and strange and beautiful scene. In the midst of that, Judas, who is the money keeper of the group, grabs the flask away from Mary and tells her that she is wasting money. We have heard from the reading, of course, that the motive of Judas was not quite as high as he pretended. We all know that he only wanted the money to go into the purse so that he would have control over it. Jesus says, "Leave her alone. What she has done is fine and beautiful, will be remembered forever. Let her keep the rest of that nard for the time when my death comes." There's little differences in the gospel accounts of how this story happens. In Matthew and Mark, it happens in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper. In John, it happens in Bethany, in the house of Martha and Mary and Lazarus. In Luke, it happens in Nain, in the house of Simon, who is, in that story, not a leper, but a Pharisee. The timing of the story is a little different. Matthew, Mark, and John have the story coming at the end of Jesus' ministry. Luke has it at the beginning. And the identity of the woman is also different in the Gospels. In Matthew and Mark, she is simply called a woman. In Luke, she is called a sinful woman, implying that she is a prostitute. In John, it is clearly Mary of Bethany, the sister of Lazarus and Martha. And yet there is the implication that Mary of Bethany is also a prostitute because she has let down her hair in the presence of men, and only a prostitute would have done that in that context. So a powerful story of a person who is clearly on the outside of society and would have been on the lowest rung with respect to her social status, doing what she can do to offer praise and adoration and glory to Christ, whom she has received as Savior. Powerful. We know now a little bit about what the person was who was doing this act. We need to understand that Bethany has a great deal of symbolic power. Bethany was always considered to be a town of healing. It was where people went because for some reason the residents of Bethany had a special tenderness and compassion for people who were sick. So we know this story has something to do with healing. If we look into the nature of nard, the substance with which Mary anointed Jesus, we see the theme of healing coming even more to the foreground.